The spring for the Ardennes riders hasn't finished yet, although we moved to Germany for one of the biggest races in the country, Eschborn-Frankfurt 2024. They do a couple of reps of the Feldberg from either side, as well as the Mammelschein climb, which is the real climb that splits apart the race, with about 40 Ks to go, 2.3 Ks, 8.3% before a flat city circuit in Frankfurt. And John Degenkolb and Wara van Gerleve were in the breakaway. No bother for the teams behind with 100 Ks to go. Still a lot of climbing left, and that gap started to tumble down. Although Kevin Vermaker jumped, I think on the first Mammelschein repetition, maybe going for the KOM points. Like, he didn't get much leash. Maybe he was hoping people joined him, but he sort of gets subsumed by the peloton just over the KOM point there. And it was Lotto Destiny putting their stall out for Maxim van Gils all day. There's UAE here with Kristen, Hirschi, Ulysses, Schurd-Backs. Good hill squad. Although we can see this course now, the sprinters, even like Christoph, those sort of guys, they can't get around it. Even if they make the finish, they're too tired. It's so hard now, this course. It really is for punchers and the sort of riders you'll see at the end of Amstel Gold Race. Buchmann active, despite being disappointed at being left out of the Giro d'Italia squad. In this phase of the race, so many attacks. UNOX, Trek, Bora Hansgrohe with Rouge Adria, who actually was their best rider in the end in the final sprint. UAE chasing him down. Healy went at one point with EF having numbers in this group. Schurd-Backs, Healy's on his wheel in fact. Ciccione's there as an attacking option, but they got Thibaut Nys for the sprint, who wasn't as good in the sprints in Romandy as one might expect, but actually was good on the mountain stage, which he won from the breakaway. Settled down a little bit, lead-outs beginning into the final Mammelschein climb, which would be decisive. Quite steep at the end. And it's an interesting mixture of riders we've got here. We've got riders who are finishing their Ardennes campaign, like Van Gils and Healy. We've got riders going to the Giro, like Schachmann. We've got riders who just finished Romandy, like Nys. But here you see Maxim Van Gils under the pressure of Paulus. He was, well, maybe not struggling, but he wasn't doing it easy up this climb. And you see in this group, I think Hulgaard was looking really good for UNOX, actually. It's EF putting the pace down for Nerurkar, who's a neo-pro with actually a very fast kick, sitting second wheel. But you look down the group, it's like Axel Laurence, Nys, Schachmann, Ciccone, Buchmann, mostly climbers and puncheurs in this group, and Van Gils is just doing his best to make it over. Riley Sheehan there as well for Israel Premier Tech, the American, who's got a very, very fast finish, and Aaron Baruz following when Jan Christen kicks off. Hirschi just doing his own pace, letting him go, and the young Swiss rider on UAE, he was out there a long time. Ciccone chased him back with Vergalito. They were going for Laurence and Nys in the sprint. EF just helping. UNOX didn't help in that point. 30 seconds, and he's going to make it into this final city circuit where actually it's harder to bring him back with all the corners, especially I think he's a cyclocross rider, Chris, I'm not sure exactly, but harder to bring him back than on these big roads where they put about 15 seconds into him clearly, but it was coming down fast. You'd think at this point he's going to be brought back in the next 2-3 Ks, 17 seconds, and he's just lost 15. And now Bora chasing with Buchmann. They have Haller in the group and Rouge Adria. They got about 5-6 riders in the group, and they got him within sight. UAE blocking just behind. But actually Bora, I think, kind of do the smart thing, if you want to sprint, which is they can see him, Kristen just up ahead, and you can see Adria or whoever it is talking to Haller, and they're not going to commit more resources. Because if you bring him back too early, there'll just be another attack from a team that doesn't want to sprint. The group is still really big. There'll be a Masnada who will attack, or Ciccone, or somebody else, with the mayor ringing the bell for the last lap. So actually, he only loses 8 seconds for like 7 Ks. Eventually, Derek G has to get on the front for Israel Premier Tech to start helping, and Bora have conserved their lead-out train. I think Egita was in the group as well, maybe, but they don't really do the best lead out, to be honest. They kind of, Haller and Adria do their own sprints. Last 2 Ks, Kristen brought back. It's going to be a sprint. EF all in for Nerurkar. They have 4 riders. Bora move up, but then the washing machine effects in full force, and you see Sheen on the left-hand side, Aaron Baru, the Movistar jersey, and I think it's Van Gils, the Lotto Destiny rider, just behind him. Thibaut Nys is being brought up by Ciccone, and there's Hulgaard for UNOX, as well as Søren Kragh plus Axel Laurence for Alpecin de Koenig, and she's always pretty lethal in these sort of sprints too. It's been a hard race. Attack starting from 85k's to go. Really open race, up and down terrain, some longer climbs like the Feldberg. And Paulus sees his man's in position where he needs to be. Aaron Baru eating a fair bit of wind. Haller already trying to move up positions on the right as well, and he launches it. Really good lead out from Paulus, keeping the pace high. Aaron Baru had to sprint. He actually takes Adria's wheel off Hirschi, and that really cost Hirschi this sprint. I think Frank Vandenbroek, who just won an uphill mountaintop sprint in Turkey, brings Vermaker up, but he actually cooks Vermaker really on the wheel. And slaloming, I think that's the verb. Anyway, through the group, Maxim van Hils wins for Lotto Destiny. You'll see it better in the overhead. Look how deep he came from. What is he? I don't know, 10th, 12th deep in the peloton. He's way behind Aaron. Look where Aaron Baru and Narok are. And they've had a great lead out. Maybe they ate too much wind and he's been able to sit in and not eat too much. I don't know, but still, big risk getting boxed in here, and he finds his way. He gets squeezed by Sheehan a little bit. He goes to the left of Haller, overlaps him as Ulysses doing his own sprint, but here she gets boxed on the right-hand side. Bang! Through the middle of the DSM riders, Vandenbroek and Vermaker, onto the wheel of Aaron Baru, and then he's just too fast. Sheehan, probably second fastest, but he also came from deep. He was unlucky not to get second, but position helped Aaron Baru as well. Narukar fourth, then Adria, Hobeholsen sixth, and Vermaker, Krah Andersen, Hirschi, Hulgaard. Here's what Maxim van Hils had to say after his first World Tour win.
Congratulations, Maxim. A victory here on a World Tour race. That must mean a lot for you.
It's my last race. It was already an incredible spring. But to finish it off with a World Tour victory, it's an absolute dream.
It was a tough one. A lot of climbing today, up and down all day, and a lot of attacking. How did you find the energy to still win that sprint against some very strong riders?
Actually, my feeling was not super good today, but the team was making the race hard to drop the sprinters, and this gave me confidence. And then I just had to survive the last steep climb, the Mashamala, what is the name? And then I just stayed in the wheels. I tried to recover and I focused on my sprint, and just before the line it go open, and I had enough speed and I finished it off.
We really feel that you've gone one step higher this season, this year, with some very good results in World Tour races, in Milan-San Remo, and here again in Frankfurt.
Yeah, it's really crazy. Everything went perfect this season. I am riding on a really high level, so I really enjoy it.
Now, if you were listening to the Lanterne Rouge Cycling Podcast weekly show on Monday evening, you would have heard that Maxim van Hils is actually a pretty lethal sprinter. He just hadn't broken through yet. So go check out our Giro preview for more nuggets like that.